and thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. She's Kim McAllister. And let's get things going with a story that was just, captivating everyone over the weekend and will continue to do so, I am sure.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, whatever the hell he's going by nowadays. After years of denying it, and most recently putting out an Instagram post denying it, settling out of court, video has proven that he's an abuser. And, the more information that is coming out about this guy, Kim, I think that there are tons more skeletons in this guy's closet. I'm going to play you a little bit of the CNN report on this. Now, CNN was able to exclusively get copies of this video, which I always rack my brain of like, whose job is it to just hone in on all the allegations about Diddy and find this video? Because they exclusively had it. But this, and I'm going to give a warning, viewer, this is going to be graphic. Sadly, we have seen, I would say, I'm putting this in quotes, worse of abuse on camera, but this is really bad. This is Sean Combs. I'm not even going to use allegedly, even though he settled out of court, beating his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, Cassie Ventura. Here we go. And this is the report from CNN.
So difficult to reflect.
Oh, hold on. This is the one from CNN that I want to show. That was his apology. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Now he's sorry.
He's sorry. Exactly. But this is the video that was just going viral this weekend. Talking about. So this was and I'll get to it in a second, but this just really makes you wonder, Kim, if all the other allegations about sex trafficking, and there seems to be a lot that are coming out of the woodwork, are true. So now I'm going to play a little more of this video. This is what he wrote very recently, December 6th, 2023, regarding the allegations that Cassie Ventura was making.
On CNN, Combs issued an apology.
I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
So here's my question. Now, LA cannot prosecute. The LA County District Attorney's Office has said kind of the statute of limitations has expired to file charges. He's admitting it, right? Like, I understand the law and all that, but that's the only reason, Kim, he made that apology video is because there's the other video. He came out in December saying it's sickening. People are looking for a quick payday. Give me a break.
Matter of fact, the headline on CNN and a different story says it perfectly. From denial to admission, how a surveillance tape held Sean Diddy Combs accountable. Because if that tape hadn't come out, he would still be denying it up one side and down the other, right?
Exactly.
When the tape comes out, now you have to do the apology tour. He says, I hit rock bottom and I'm disgusted by myself then and I'm disgusted by myself now. Well, if you were so disgusted by yourself then why didn't you apologize then?
Exactly.
Why did it take the world to see your incredibly horrifying behavior for you to apologize? Because if you really want to be a better person, you admit right then, listen, I did this horrible thing to you. I am so sorry. I am going right away for counseling. You know, I understand if you want to sue me, you got it. I'm so sorry I've done this to you. Right? That's not who he is. And that's not what happened.
Exactly. He's like, I went out and sought professional help, had to go into therapy, into rehab, had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to being a better man each and every day. Then why the statement in December? Why accusing her of a quick payday? Right? If you're such a changed man from 2016 when you beat her, then why the comment in December? Because in the comment in December, it doesn't seem like you're taking responsibility. It doesn't convey that you've been in rehab and you're a changed man. It conveys, I don't want to get caught and I'm going to deny. And now all of a sudden there's irrefutable proof. I'm a changed. Give me a friggin' break. Like, no, you're a liar. And, again, canceling people and all that kind of stuff. It's a stupid thing and it doesn't actually work. I think everybody can view this man in a completely different light. And now there's going to be even more scrutiny on all the other allegations against him, all the other allegations of sex trafficking. I mean, there are so many allegations involving things like Justin Bieber, right? I mean, Cat Williams, who started this whole thing with some of his jokes and all sorts of things. You know, he's made it very clear that Diddy did dirty during his parties, right? And are we looking at another, Jeffrey Epstein here? And I'm not saying it is and it isn't.
I don't know.
But these allegations are reeking of that sort of thing.
And it's bad enough if she was just his girlfriend. That's bad enough.
Yeah.
But it turns out that she was also a singer.
Yeah.
Who was signed to his label. So now you have someone in a position of power and influence.
Exactly.
And if she wants to be a singer, she's going to have to play ball with him. As a matter of fact, it's so awful. And I think this is typical maybe in these relationships. I don't know. But she realizes after this whole hallway incident that she needs to get out. So she runs back to the hallway while he's asleep. And then, according to the CNN account that she tells them, she's afraid it's going to make him even angrier. So she goes back to the room because she's afraid of making him so angry. And there you have the power and the influence, and it becomes even more complicated in this sticky kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And it's a Me Too movement. I mean, that is what it is. It's not believing women unless there is irrefutable proof. And then there is irrefutable proof. And so there you go. And now all of a sudden, the guy, mea culpa, my ass. And this guy, just like you said, Kim, there's a huge power dynamic.
Right. Yeah.
Not only that, add to it, the abuse and the victim and the kind of the mind games that can play on women, right? Well, if I had only done this, then he wouldn't have hit me. And I was literally just talking to my friends today, and I was telling one of my friends who was sharing, other kinds of, stories about people she knew that had been abused and things like that. And I told her, I was like, I vividly remember I was probably in, I want to say 8th grade, maybe freshman year, just starting to really like, oh, can I go out with this guy kind of thing? You know what I mean? I like boys having, and I'll never forget. My mom sat me down at the table, and we were, this wasn't the only reason why we were sitting at the table, but we were just talking. Yeah. And I remember my mom looked at me and she's like, if a man hits you once, you leave, because he will always, if you don't, he will hit you again. Absolutely. It doesn't matter what he says, how sorry he is. Once that line is crossed once out, you have to leave. Because there is, for a man or anybody to be able to cross that line to literally hit you. I can understand yelling, but verbal abuse is abuse. But I'm just saying, to actually take this step, to kick somebody, hit somebody, do something like that, that's in them. It's like, sadly, it's like when an animal bites a human, right? They got the taste for blood. Hey, if he's going to hit you once, he will hit you again. And when you go back, then some women feel like they're a fool to go back, and then they have to stay with them. And maybe he's only like that with me and not with anybody else, blah, blah, blah.
I will also say that according to the complaint filed by this woman, she was 19 when she met him. He was 37. I don't know about you, but at the age of 19, maybe because your mom prepared you a little better, you would have been able to deal with it. Besides, you're kind of feisty. But at 19, I was nowhere near prepared to to be able to take care of myself in that way.
Right.
And when I was 19, I was still kind of young.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
19 is young. 19 is young.
You're not, I don't know, you lack a certain confidence. Right. I remember feeling really bad if a man in his 20s or some boy asked me out and I didn't want to go. Sometimes I'd say yes because I felt bad.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say no. I didn't know how to say no. Right. Sometimes I didn't want to hurt the person. Right. I know it's awful. Like I shouldn't have been that way.
No, it's not awful.
But it
we're
takes
raised
a
that
while
way
to get there, right?
Yes.
You have to be able to, you have the confidence and the experience to be like, you know what? Listen, I don't want to waste your time. I'm not really interested. Thank you so much. There's a path to get to that point. And at 19, I would have had no business with a guy like that. 37 years old, I might have done the same thing. She wasn't ready for
anyway.
that.
I mean, I know she's an adult, but like, what are you doing with a 19-year-old? Oh, I'm going to help your career.
There's a difference between being legal and being ready.
Exactly. And being, like a grown woman. And he is a grown man. He's a man. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? I understand it's the music business and everybody's looking for, and Diddy's Diddy, right? Like he has a lot of power. But again, it's so gross. And I love that you were talking about not knowing how to say no without hurting somebody's feelings.
That's right.
That is a thing that like, you even have to teach little kids. You know what I mean?
I've had to work on it with Julia because I don't want her to be like that. And I remember this feeling of like my face would get hot. Like I would be so embarrassed because I didn't want to say no and hurt the person.
Right.
God, what a dumb kid.
You know? It's not dumb. It's because you don't have an off ramp. It takes practice. I think that we raise children to be sweet and polite and kind and listen to your elders and blah, 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 and not listen to that gut that's telling them, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hug him or kiss her on the cheek. I don't want to do that. So you have to impart that on your children just to say, no's a complete sentence, right? No, I don't want to. And it's not rude. And, obviously if it's family, the family dynamics, why is your kid being a dick, or whatever. But But it's one of those things where, especially for girls, though, I would say, especially for girls, polite, smile, don't hurt his feelings, lead you down a bad road.
We don't rock the boat. We don't shake things up.
Yep, exactly. And I will also say, in certain instances, Kim, and this is kind of the double-edged sword of being that way. Sometimes you just go along because you know that it's going to get violent if you don't. You know what I mean? Like
I'm so fortunate
victims,
that never happened to me. I'm so lucky. But I could just see myself as that 19-year-old girl in that hallway, not knowing what to do.
Right. And it's so sad. And so, you know what? I'm glad that at the very least, Cassie Ventura she's not going to get her day in court, but in the eyes of the public, everyone believes her. And it's sad that we needed the video to be able to fully believe her. Unfortunately, that's the way the world works, but at least we have it.
So let me just re-rack because she was 19 when they met.
Right.
But they dated on and off. So it must have been a pretty hairy relationship.
They stayed together 4 years after that video happened.
Between the video between 2007 when they met when she was 19 and 2018. So I don't know when within this video something happened, but I still think there's that power dynamic there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it doesn't, Diddy was Diddy the whole time. It doesn't matter if she had been signed. He has a power over her no matter what. And again, it just makes you wonder about all sorts of things. I mean, obviously like Jennifer Lopez was with him and these sorts of things. And it's just really scary. And I don't need any more apologies from Diddy. He's an abuser. I don't care if he's like, I've been in rehab. You denied it in December. You haven't learned. You just got caught. Even 50 Cent came out and he's like, who is advising this guy? Like, this is the worst apology video you should ever be putting out. And it does kind of piss me off that even admitting abuse, that you abuse somebody just because of the time that he's going to be able to not do jail time. And I just think that it sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks. And there's women out there that are watching this non-case go to court and be like doing the math and being like, well, I guess my abuser is going to get off too. Because even if he does admit it, even if there's evidence, this whole timeline and statutes of limitations I think that if there's evidence, cold, hard evidence, it should always be taken into account. There shouldn't, I don't know. What does it matter if it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago? If that's him and he's doing that crime, what the hell? Why not? But that's not the way the law works. So unfortunately.
She got married to someone else in 2019 and they have 2 kids together. And
that's good.
He put out a statement. His name is Alex Fine.
The husband?
He's her personal trainer and he's her husband.
Okay.
And he said men who hit women are not men.
Nope.
Men who enable it and protect those people are not men.
Nope.
He said, as men, violence against women shouldn't be inevitable. Check your brothers, your friends, your family. Our daughters, sisters, mothers, and wives should feel protected and loved. Hold the women in your life with the utmost regard. Men who hurt women hate women.
Exactly. It's just, but I love that he called out men. Like men need to check other men. And I was watching this one video. Oh, and forgive me because it just popped in when you were talking about that. But it was this whole idea of, well, I'm a good man. Oh, I think it was during the whole bear in the forest or a man in the forest conversation that we had. Yeah. And this one woman was giving kind of her perspective on it. And she was basically saying, men would be saying, I'm a good man. I don't know what these bad men are talking about. But that's not actually true. Because she shared a story about how she was walking in New York City past a group of men, right? I think it was like at a bus stop or something. And one of the men grabbed her so hard on her butt, right? She's like, she turned around and she's like, it hurt how hard he grabbed me. And none of the men at the bus stop said anything. No. Now, they might be patting themselves on the back like, that wasn't me. I'm a good guy. But you didn't say anything, did you? Right? And that's the same thing in this case. How many people knew that Diddy did this? How many people just turned a freaking blind eye and they're like, well, it wasn't me. I wasn't okay with it, but I didn't want to say anything. Well, then what good are you? Like, you're not good. You might think that there's a crown on your head because you personally haven't hit a woman. But if you know a guy that did or saw it happen and said nothing, you're not a good guy. That doesn't make you a good guy. It just doesn't. The good guy is the guy that says something. The good guy is the guy that steps in.
Yeah. And I hope that she's had counseling and that she's able to go on and have a better life.
Well, thankfully, she's obviously married a good guy, right? Yep. And she has children and is turning the page. And obviously, she's not going to give interviews. I'm sure the settlement that she got from Diddy took care of that. But I am glad that she's having, this moment where on one hand, I mean, it has to be, it has to be devastating to relive this, right? The video's out there, everyone's seen it, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, also that I would imagine, and I can't speak for her, just this weight of at least everyone knows now. And they're not like, oh, stop lying. That she's finally believed. And I can only imagine what a relief that is to finally be believed by everybody and no more question.
So you talked about cancel culture.
Right.
Do you think that if one of his songs comes on, you were just going to hit skip?
Oh, I'm not one of those people.
Or do you feel like the artist is different than the art?
Yes.
You won't buy it?
I mean,
I wasn't his customer anyway. So
I'm not
I don't
a
have
huge
to worry
Diddy
about
fan.
It.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not hard for me to say,
No.
I don't purchase things of people that I don't like. Like my dollars don't go to it.
Right.
Would I turn the music off I'm not that big of a Diddy fan, so it's not that hard for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I do separate art from the artist. I do in many cases. I don't necessarily need my dollars to go to it, but I'm not going to be like la 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 in my ears. Like if a
song comes on in a restaurant or a club, I'm not going to turn around and walk out.
Right, and I'm not going to call out the club and be like, "How could you play his music?" Like
no, but I wouldn't buy it. But it doesn't make a difference because I wouldn't have bought it before either.
Exactly.
So,
and also I think again, while cancel culture people try to make it a thing, I really think it comes down on the individual level, right? So if you're really anti-Diddy, which I'm very anti what Diddy did, right? And as a person and a liar and all that sort of thing. And if you individually don't like it, then you individually don't buy the music, right?
Yeah.
And then the fewer people that buy the music, the fewer the radio stations are going to play the songs. And so it's like a ripple effect, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Calling up a radio station that has the audacity to play a Diddy song is stupid in my opinion. You know what I mean?
It's Michael Jackson thing. Like,
exactly.
Don't play Michael Jackson. Come on. Don't listen to it.
Don't listen to it. Exactly. There has to be balance. And again, if you do feel that Diddy should never be played on the radio, then just seek out radio stations that don't play it. And the more people that do that, then the fewer stations that will likely play him. That's how I think this should go. And that's my opinion. If you think something different, more power to you. But I'm just saying, a group canceling is really ridiculous in my opinion. It just is. Okay. I do want to share some of my weekend plans before we end the show.
Yeah.
So I finally went to the Sphere. Not finally. I mean, it hasn't been around that long. I am telling you people, if you've ever thought about going to the Sphere or going to Vegas, go. It is so cool. It is, I will say, one of the coolest things that Las Vegas has kind of created since the Strip, right? I mean, it's just, you could see it almost from anywhere. like whatever's on the sphere you could see. So I have a little video. I don't want to play the beginning. So I went to go see Dead and Company. Now I am not a huge Deadhead or anything like that. I think I maybe in the entire concert knew, because obviously there's a ton of Grateful Dead songs. Okay. I might have known 3 sort of. That's how like big their, music set list is. My friend had gone to the concert on Thursday. We showed up Friday. We went to the concert on Friday together, and then he stayed to see the show on Saturday. So he went 3 days in a row.
She really went in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was a guy, but yeah.
Okay.
And he said that they didn't repeat any songs from Friday night. I mean, from Thursday night into Friday night.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm just saying. Now the visuals, he said, were the same, which I can imagine it'd be really difficult to change the visuals for everything. But okay, so here's my other trick. I'm like stumbling. Here's my other tip and trick. If you're going to go to the sphere, the closer you are to the stage, not counting the floor, kind of the worse it is. Okay.
Oh.
Because there's an overhang. So level 100, unless you're in, I would say, the first 10 rows of section 100, you're going to have an overhang, which means you can't see the entire top of the sphere. Okay. 200s are the most expensive. They're like on the balcony, and then 400. So at the beginning of the concert, we snuck up to the 400s, like the tippy top, and stayed there until somebody's sat in their seats. But this was the video that I was able to take. And this was, no. This was when I walked down to the front of the 100 stage. I'm not going to show you the other one. Hold on. Here we go. Let me open it up. There we go. So I'm walking. See the overhang right there? And I'll show you, like, it was, and so there's the band. Like, we were close to the band. I do not own the rights to this music. But see how it goes up? It was really freaking cool. And then all this stuff like comes down. So see, it's really cool. But
what an experience. That's really interesting.
So much fun.
But you say sitting up top is a good seat too,
okay,
sitting in the fourth row?
So yeah, if you go to the tippy top, but then you're just farther away from the band. So that's why the 200's kind of in the middle, right? So you're close enough to the band, but then you can see the entire sphere.
What about being down on the floor by the stage?
Now, if you're on the floor, well, okay, so I'm too old to be standing the whole time. But they were the only band. Like, it started at 7:30. There's no opening band. And then there's about a 45-minute intermission.
Okay.
Which was totally perfect because, you got to go to the bathroom and all those sorts of things.
Of course. And there's lines everywhere. Yeah.
It was a packed house. I don't know if it was sold out, but it looked like it. And I will tell you, there are so many bathrooms and everything. I never waited in line to go to the bathroom.
Oh, nice.
Ever. So I never waited in line to get a beer. Like, I'm telling you.
Was it a sold out show?
I don't know if it was sold out, but it looked pretty full. I mean, you saw the video there. I don't know if every single seat was taken, but it was packed. And still no lines anywhere. Mm-hmm. So, definite A+ if you're going to go, but that's my advice. 200s if you can afford it, or 300s and 400s to get the full sphere experience. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty awesome. But I'm just also going to say, don't do what we did. Total suicide trip. Left Friday. Our flight left at 3:50 in the afternoon. I was back in San Jose at 2:50. So less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I was quite dead yesterday. But it was worth it.
Speaking of Dead and Company.
I was definitely dead, but it was so worth it. And it was for our anniversary, which is tomorrow. So
happy anniversary.
Yeah, 19 years. Next year's going to be a big one. But 19
Are you going to do any big trip or anything big to do
next
for 20?
year? Yeah, I'd love to go to Italy. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Wow.
But I'd like to start kind of looking in and pricing things, even if it's just Italy. I'd love to do a tour of Europe, or at least because we have friends out there.
Totally.
But I don't know. I just want to go to Italy so bad. So fingers crossed that happens.
It's going to be great.
All right. So tomorrow we are going to talk. Well, Rudy Giuliani did not have a very good 80th birthday.
Oh, Rudy.
Yeah, he was served with an indictment. We'll talk a bit about that. And then how problematic the wives, apparently, of Supreme Court justices are. So we will discuss that as well.
It's not all the wife's fault, right?
Oh, it's always the woman's fault, right? It's always the woman's fault. All right, you guys, click that thumbs up button. Show your support for the show. We really do appreciate it. We cannot do this show without you. Mm-hmm. So at least do that. It's free. We appreciate it. Thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a moment. But also, please support the show through our Patreon. TheNikkiMadoroShow.com is where you find our Patreon link. And if you don't like that, you can always send us through PayPal. Go to paypal.com, hit the send button. I want to send a huge thank you to our donors. Janet, thank you for your very, very generous donation as well.
So nice.
So nice. And again, we appreciate every dollar we receive because that's how we keep doing the show. You want to keep seeing us? Please donate. Go to paypal.com, put in the email, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. And of course, then support our sponsor, Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors. She has the barbecue sauce, 2 hot sauces, hibiscus and pineapple, guava barbecue sauce. And if you use our coupon code NIKKIM, NIKKIM, you get 10% off every single order. So thank you guys so very much. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Have a fabulous day, and we'll talk then. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.